This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen She Devils on Wheels, which is technically a thriller film, but that would imply excitement. Directed by Herschell Gordon Lewis back in 1968, it follows the wild exploits of the Man-Eaters, an all-girl gang of bikers who terrorize their local community and, well, not much else. The movie is just barely two stories in one. The first concerns a newer gang member named Karen who has an attraction to one of the gang's male groupies, which goes against the gang's code for whatever reason. And the second involves their more vicious battle against an all-male gang of hot rodders, one which sees a member of the Man-Eaters brutalized and the leader of the male gang. Well, saying anything more would basically ruin the surprise. Then again, it's right there on the poster art. Not that there's many surprises to be found in this movie anyways. It chooses not to waste its time on the usual stuff you'd find in films, like a narrative or character arcs. And instead it focuses more on the general concept and sensationalizing as much of it as it can before the audience remembers that there ought to be at least a story of sorts. On that level, the movie gets the job done. Pretty much every minute is dedicated in some way towards reminding the audience that these biker women are hardcore ruffians who won't take no for an answer, or something to that effect. They end up yelling a lot more than they actually make trouble, and even then it's more as if they're yelling just to be heard. Anyways, the sensationalistic exploitation aspect of the film is also present in the stories, which pretty much go from bad to worse, and serve nothing more than to pretend that any of this actually happens in reality, almost like a cautionary tale. Karen is pretty much meant to be like a normal girl entering a whole new world, but the movie hardly gives her a conflict before she goes all in with the gang. Every character is pretty much defined by singular traits, from the fat biker chick, to an unsubtle lesbian biker chick, to a clearly but not explicitly stated as being underage biker girl. It's an uncomfortable aspect of the movie that almost makes it a prime example of the kind of film you hear about by word of mouth through all of these little things that add up over several conversations. I mean, it is an exploitation film, but I usually figure those kind of movies actually exploit something. I don't know. Anyways, it should come as no surprise that the movie lacks any considerable production value. There are bikes in this biker movie if you were worried, but everything else is probably the result of filming whenever nobody was looking, or promising that they would only need a few minutes before moving on. Everything else that isn't immediately the result of having no money seems to come from the filmmakers having even less patience. Cinematography is always flat, with any number of scenes within a single location looking as if they were shot on the same day, and maybe even at the same time. Editing barely masks these issues, doing more to hide the lack of a story between cuts than the lack of budget. Right down to scene transitions literally being the same short clip of a painting. If anything in this movie had any money, it would be the makeup and special effects, which are far from realistic, but do their best to suggest the kind of gross imagery that the story is asking for. It's a limited presence, though, which just makes me think that it's another one of the exploitative elements meant to sell the film through word of mouth, rather than actual quality or effort. Does it work? I mean, I wasn't there, so maybe the marketing worked. All I know is that the movie doesn't. She Devils on Wheels. Herschell Gordon Lewis, 1968. Half a star. I don't recommend watching it, unless you or others have a morbid sense of curiosity. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I used to have a positive image of bikers before this movie. Now I don't know what to feel.